This is the Umbrella Academy on TV Podcast Industries. We're back discussing the Umbrella Academy Season 4, Episode 2, Gene and Jean.
First mission back!
Why are you so loud?
Woo! Yeah!
Hell yes! Let's go kill this bitch!
This is a rescue mission.
Welcome back, fellow Academy alumni, to the second episode of Season 4 of the Umbrella Academy on TV Podcast Industries. I am one of your hosts, Derek.
And rounding out the duo, because we're still down to 2 out of 3. It ain't bad.
It ain't.
I am Chris.
Yes, poor John, still laid up on his back, watching some Star Wars. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. That's his happy place.
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars. What more do you need?
I say happy place, but he's watching Andor, which isn't a happy TV show, but he is enjoying it again.
Oh God, I need to go back and really watch that. I'm going to wait for season 2 and then just do a run in at
it. Watch it anytime and watch it a third time before the second season because it is a great watch, well worth watching again. So Chris, I have to start out before we get into the full spoiler-filled discussion, just asking how many times have you sang Baby Shark since you watched this episode?
Too many.
It's close to 1 billion, isn't it? Because that's pretty much what was happening to me. It's got straight into my head again. And you don't even have a child that's old enough to make you play this song. And I don't have a child like that.
No, he does. He does.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. We are currently in Australian Wigglesland.
Oh, right.
Which is interesting because they do a lot of different songs.
Yeah.
The Rattling Bug.
Okay.
Wheels on the Bus. Baby Shark.
Oh, dear.
Monkey Man with Kylie Minogue.
Oh, right.
There's one. Yeah.
It's an odd one.
It's an odd one, but it sticks in your head. Or the one that really, really sticks, and anyone with a kid around the same age or something similar will know, the Marshmallow Song by The Wiggles. It's an earworm. It's a parasite.
So is it worse than Baby Shark?
Oh, it's close.
Okay, because I think this is probably the worst. And you know, and again, I'm sure you've seen the episode by now, fellow Academy alumni. We don't need to tell you this is spoiler filled, but I think they used it so well in this episode because actually, even though on screen it's saying an hour passed or 3 hours passed, they are just playing the song through once. Well, because it's so irritating, it makes it feel like they've been playing it for 3 or 4 hours, or 13 hours at one point, when they have their time jump. But it does really great, as a song. So I just wanted to start out just talking about Baby Shark, but we are going to get into our full discussion about the episode. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please pop on over to our website at tvpodcastindustries.com where you can get access to all of our podcasts, including the specific Umbrella Academy podcast, which has all of our episodes about Umbrella Academy on there, in case you missed any of them over the years. You can also join us over on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/tvpodcastindustries. And if you want to leave us any feedback, there are spoiler posts over on the Facebook group, or you can email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com with your thoughts about any of the further episodes of the Umbrella Academy, or just to say hi if you want to. I'm there. I'll chat with you about whatever you want to talk about.
I'm there, but I just lurk. I don't talk. I talk too much as it is in my life. It's a bad thing. You be happy that I'm there and shutting up. Otherwise, I talk too much.
But you did promise that you would put up your review of Deadpool and Wolverine since you missed the podcast because you didn't get the chance to go to the cinema in time.
I did. We're going to figure that one out because I think I need someone to, I want to say ramble with, but to be fair is probably rein in.
Are you asking me to edit your Facebook posts as well as your podcast, Chris? I can't do that.
No, I think just edit me.
Write down your thoughts, put it into ChatGPT, ask it to edit it down to a small Facebook post, and then pop it on the group. There you go, Chris.
Sure. I'd rather use Gemini because who uses ChatGPT?
Company man. Anyway.
Oh, yes. Anyway, let's get into our episode details with who gave us what, where, when, and how for Gene and Jean.
Once again, yes, of course, the show is created for television by Steve Blackman and developed by Jeremy Slater, based on the comic books by Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba. This episode, again, was directed by Jeremy Webb, who directed episode 1, and the teleplay for the episode was written by Molly Nussbaum and Robert Askins, and the story was written by Molly Nussbaum Robert Askins and Jesse McCown. We mentioned Jesse McCown last episode as well as one of the major writers in the writers' room. So yeah, lots of people involved. Molly and Robert, first time on the show, obviously under the guidance of Jesse McCown for this episode.
Yeah, and they definitely take it to some places.
Yes, they do. So, Chris, do you want to tell us the synopsis for The Umbrella Academy Season 4, Episode 2, Gene and Jean?
Yes. Or, in the immortal words of our laid-out friend, sure. With a version of their powers restored following Ben's intervention, the unhappy Hargreaves take a road trip to New Crumpton, Maine to find Cy Grossman's missing daughter. This Christmas celebrating town has a nasty underbelly. From antique dealers to Santa's elves, everyone is gunning for the family. They narrowly escape after finding Jennifer, but she has no idea who Cy Grossman is. Before they leave, an imposter from town shoots Klaus. As he's at death's door, the family force him to take the marigold against his wishes. Just as he recovers, cult leaders Jean crash into the Hargreaves van. As it tumbles through the air, Jennifer and Ben's hands clash with explosive power. While the family's unconscious, the Thibodeaus take Jennifer with them and learn that Lila has infiltrated their group.
Yeah, lots going on in this episode.
You did mention, before we get into our kind of big moments from the episode, you did mention that this felt like a kind of end of year release. Was like, this 100% confirmed it for me, but it was like, oh, it's Christmas. Oh, they meant to like release this originally at Christmas time. That would more line up for me, and then you could have had the more Christmas themed part. But yeah, there you go. That was the end of year Christmas.
Do you know, it almost, because it came out in summer and the whole town is celebrating Christmas, I wondered, was this a themed town that people, it's like a tourist destination for people to go to where they celebrate Christmas 365 days a year. I thought that was going to be the weird thing, but actually it turns out that it's like Stanford in Hot Fuzz, where the whole town is armed and they're trying to keep their place safe from outsiders, basically. So yeah, a nice crazy town for the first mission of the newly regenerated Umbrella Academy, I guess.
Or is it the Sparrow Academy? Or is it a different type of academy? Who knows? But before we get to that, I want to kind of work backwards, Derek. So I'm going to ask you what your big moment for this episode is.
My big moment from the episode is the Christmas Town clash. Yeah, I really enjoyed this idea of the town they went to. I referenced it there. Hot Fuzz is one of my absolute favourite movies, where the dark underbelly of small town Britain is that they will kill anybody that comes to their town to have a tidy town, and that's what this felt like. This place that looks on the outside like a beautiful small town for local people all celebrating Christmas. And the first indication that the family gets when they're there is that they're being watched by everybody around, including Santa's elves, who've been watching them since the moment they got there. And then suddenly everybody starts taking out guns to take them out. You know, the antiques dealer, once she finds out they're looking for this woman, Jennifer Grossman, when they arrive in town, she takes out a gun on them and tries to kill them. But luckily, the team are able to fend off the members of the town. But yeah, I really like this idea. There's some great action sequences with all the family having their powers back. There's great moments in there. I loved the gun-toting Santa who gets run down by a car as it's playing Baby Shark again. Another great moment for the episode. But yeah, I really liked this idea of this town that has an unseeming underbelly underneath it.
I am right there with you. This, throughout the whole time in this town, there's just this horrible unease, and I get it. Like, Santa's always watching, but that was weird. Like, he's gonna know he's naughty and nice. This is weird.
Exactly.
I enjoy, you reference Hot Fuzz. The woman in the wheelchair, with the shotgun. I was like, this is just getting fun. It's going to be. It's going to be unique. And correct me if I'm wrong, Luther got a power upgrade, right? Because now his like body is, it's back, it's thick, it's hairy, but it's somewhat bulletproof.
It is, yes. what I worked out after watching it, and in fact, I changed it in the summary. On the Netflix summary, it says the family get their powers back. They have their powers restored. They don't. None of them get their powers back. Everybody's power is different to what they had in the past. Alison's power, for example, she had to say, I have a rumor, and that would trigger the action that she tells the person to take. Now she can control people's minds completely, just by telling them what to do, effectively. So she doesn't have to say, I have a rumor. So her power is much bigger than it was in the past. I think we have a bit of it with Victor as well. His power is now a big red power. It's a big explosive power, which is different from the blue power that he had in the past couple of seasons. As you say, Luther seems to be much more powerful. He is bulletproof now. So he seems much more able to take on people. So everybody's powers have been changed by this new marigold that's been given to them by Ben. Ben's got tentacles coming out of his back, and he can't put them back into his body. I don't know whether that's an improved power, but it's definitely a different power.
And Lila can shoot like lasers
from her eye. Yes, that's right. And doesn't have any idea how to control it, which is a hilarious scene as well. I really enjoyed that too.
Just the staring is like, it's like, are you okay? I'm doing it. No, you're not. Yes, this for me was the fun part, because seeing you say, yeah, you're right. The power is restored. It's not. They've been evolved, upgraded, tweaked, depending on how you want to put it.
Yeah.
Like Diego was a cool man with knives.
Yes.
Now he was able to catch the bullets in midair and then fire them back.
Yeah.
Based on the trajectory. I have to say, these connected but kind of separate fight scenes between Diego and a little bit Diego and Lila, with Victor and kind of Luther and Alison and everyone.
Yeah.
They put a bit of money behind it.
Yes, it is.
Like, I was so happy. And then just the pièce de résistance, the cherry on top, the Christmas turkey, if you will, was the gun-toting, LMG-toting Santa.
That's fantastic.
Getting run over.
Yeah.
Just, mwah.
Fantastic moment, yeah. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was fun. It was really, really fun.
And really behind it all, like we'd been told in the last episode, this character, Cy Grossman, who enlisted the help of the Umbrella Academy to find his daughter, Jennifer, that we'd been told that this was because he thought the Keepers had kidnapped his daughter. This town is either completely Keeper run, or they have no connection to the Keepers at all. We don't know that yet. We'll find that out later on, I guess, as the episodes go on. But interestingly, Jennifer has no idea who Cy Grossman is. She believes she's been living here for a number of years, that she doesn't know her parents. Her parents are both dead. So it puts another spin on what's happening, what happened in the last episode. It puts another spin underneath this, I guess, unreliable narrator, I guess, that Cy Grossman was. The story that he told wasn't true. Or I guess wasn't true in Jennifer's mind, but the entire town are there to protect the secret, I guess, that is Jennifer. I don't know why.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the fun part. Like, straight away, my brain goes to, she's another child. Like, she is Lila.
Yes, yeah. Well, I can't remember the number again. Gosh, I should have written it down. It's 49 children that were born on the same day. Something like that, because of the marigold being spread across the world. There's only 7 in the Umbrella Academy. There were 7 in the Sparrow Academy. So there are other children out there in the world. So it is entirely possible that Jennifer's one of the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably 42, since 42 is the answer to every question, right? So
the answer to everything in the universe.
It is. But yes, it's an interesting twist on what the tale is. They went there thinking they were going to be finding this child that had been kidnapped, the daughter of Cy Grossman, and it turns out the entire town is there to protect her from being taken and to take out anybody that comes asking about her, basically. Yeah.
And then again is like, are they the actual good guys? Are they people destroying, that they were stopping them? You mentioned that that kind of unreliable narrator. I want to call it trope. It's not a trope.
No.
That's probably the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's a good tool used by screenwriters in that if you think of any of those spy films or action films where suddenly things go sideways,
Mm-hmm.
usually they have that unreliable narrator aspect where someone is sent to do something.
Yeah.
Turns out they were sent by the wrong people.
Yeah.
Or they weren't. And I think the "or they weren't" is the interesting bit. Is,
Yeah.
okay, maybe he's not the dad,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe there's more to it, and maybe she's the evil one. Who knows?
Mhm.
Because you hear Ben is like, yeah, let's kill her.
Well, that was by mistake. He wasn't. He had no idea what he was doing. He was just hyped up for it. But like we said, it's not just that the powers are restored for the family. It's that they're all really sick as well. So it's not just the powers are restored. So it's not the same. So I think Ben was just speaking out of sickness there when he was saying let's go kill her. So
Sure,
he
maybe.
just didn't really know.
Maybe he's just seeing the future. Who knows?
But I did mean to mention, you called it out there, that is she possibly one of the other kids? There is that big moment right at the end of the episode as the Jeans crash into the family vehicle, that Jennifer and Ben's hands touch, and there's kind of an explosion that goes off in the touch of the two hands. So that is entirely possible that there is a power inside her, as there is with the rest of the Hargreaves family. So, so yes, another indication she could be one of the people born of the Marigold.
Yeah. I have this lovely theory that, because, like, they aren't in their universe, that she's Ben. And when there's a whole thing that the same thing cannot occupy the same space and time.
Yes, yeah.
So it's that whole, like, she's just Ben. Like, she is a female version of Ben, a multiversal version of Ben.
Maybe.
And, like, basically, like, you're going to find out that there's another Luther. There's another Allison.
Maybe.
There's another, and they just, because they've never met or touched, when they do, like, you're basically putting the positive, negative, two things that are exactly the same when they shouldn't occupy the same space and time.
Yeah.
And
I like that. I like that. It's a good theory. I know in the Umbrella Academy, it's established that if you meet another version of yourself, you get sickness from it. You fart constantly, as we saw from Five meeting the older version of himself last season. So I guess maybe them all throwing up all the time, was that an indication that they were close to other people like themselves? Maybe that was why they were all thrown up.
Yeah, or like because they're throwing up, they just didn't know, and they don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
They're meeting another sibling. That's why I was like, "Oh, maybe they've just covered the sicknesses is covering the farting,
maybe
because they're already puking and farting." Yeah, just it'll be interesting.
I like it, Chris. I like it. Let's see how that plays out for the rest of the season as well. I'm sure, obviously, going to learn much more about Jennifer and who the character is as the season goes on. But yes, my big moment was the Christmastown clash. What about yourself, Chris? What's your big moment from the episode?
I'm going to bring it back to the Hargreaves. We talked about it as where were they and what were they all doing? And this is an interesting one because, they're all called repowered rather than deep. They're repowered in some form or fashion. And for different reasons, like they're all happy or not happy about it. And I want to kind of tick into, again, you see that beautiful scene where they're in the car together. And Baby Shark, and you get that everyone's been hungover. I don't know, everyone of a certain age has been that level of hungover where you're traveling, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill that next thing. And it's this whole car journey of that. And it's just fun, and it brings it back to why this show works. Because this grouping of actors and characters, again, they're being written by this writer's room. Yeah. Work so well together. And really, like, you do. I'm going to put a pin in it, park it in the corner here.
Okay.
We will get into Klaus not taking Marigold.
Yes.
Definitely cool. And then to end up getting it by the end. But seeing all of this together and how they interact, again, it brought me so much fun. Yeah. Like, throughout the episode of them just kind of becoming the team, becoming the Umbrella Academy again, just falling into their roles, and then having that familial bickering. And I think that's the key, the bickering.
Absolutely. I'm sure I've mentioned this before in the podcast, but I'm from a family of 7. I've got 4 brothers and my mom and dad. So that's the same number of people that are in this car, right? There's eight of them in the car with Lila. This is exactly what it feels like going on a family holiday with 7 people in the car, where somebody's itching for the window to be open and somebody else is feeling it's too cold, and somebody's throwing up in the back has a motion sickness, and somebody's hungover from the night before. So when you have a family of that size, everybody's going through something and everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody's backbiting each other for an entirety of a trip. So I could totally get this. Luckily, Ireland is much smaller than the US, so we wouldn't be having a car journey for 13 hours, because I don't think I'd be able to survive that with with my whole family together. So so I do love them all, of course, but in that enclosed space, I could totally see why they're all bickering with each other. But the cast just play that so well, all of them together. Yeah. They're really good. That ensemble, it just works so well. You can just hear it in all of the background conversations, even the ones that seem to be ad-libbed in the background. They seem to be just on point what each of those characters will be like, stuck in that same place together. You know, we hear from Victor that he set up his own life being away from these people for 5 years and doesn't want to come back to them. And they're all stuck now in this situation together to sort out what's going on, to try and get to the bottom of the mystery, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think that's going to be, as long as we get that, as long as we continuously get this back and forth between the family, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's I think after this 4 seasons, I'm really here to see how they resolve. Let's call it resolve.
Yeah.
Some of the family tension, and just kind of in general, how it all kind of takes along.
Yeah. I'm just here to watch these guys play and have fun after all these seasons. One of the things that you fall in love with when we used to watch shows that went on 5 or 6 seasons, it's the cast that keep you coming back. Whatever adventures they get into, that's fine. But it's all about the cast, definitely. So we talked about a lot of the powers that they got back, and as we mentioned, a lot of them are quite different from the powers that we've seen them use in the past. But a couple of ones we didn't mention before. So let's talk about Claes in a second. But Five's power has changed quite significantly, hasn't it?
Yeah, because it looks like he can't teleport, but he can, but he teleports to a subway.
Yeah,
a subway that goes to an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Different timeline?
Different timeline.
Let's call it a multiverse. It is, we're going into, sure, look, it is 2024. Every property and IP must have some form of multiversal craziness. Be it whether you're DC, Marvel, Image Comics, or in this case, the Umbrella Academy. You must be talking about multiverse because, of course. So it's interesting to see, like, that he's going to, it is that, like, he went to the same time, the same location, but slightly different world.
Yeah. Yeah. By using the train. So now we finally have an explanation for all the posters for this season, with the crazily convoluted tube line, which was what the posters for this season were. So this is where he's able to choose a train and it takes him to a different timeline, I guess. What an interesting and very different power for Five to now get control of. He was just about getting control of his slipping in the last couple of seasons after his first foray with the slipping in the first season led him to be in an apocalypse 50 years in the future. So over time, he started to work out how to use that power. This time, he's trying to work out where his power will take him. But it seems to take him to a very unusual subway station. The only thing I hope gets explained is why everything's in a different, pretty much alien language. It looks like maybe it's connected to the alien that is Reggie Hargreaves. The signs that are all around are all written in a different language, not in English. So I'm intrigued to see if he's going to some kind of alien planet that has connections to these other timelines or something like that. Yeah,
I'm of the opinion it is connected to Hotel Obsidian, from that machine. It looked quite similar to, because when he does get on that train for the first time, or the tube or the subway, it kind of starts to, I call it like the Doctor Who kind of wormhole-y, like it gets that kind of CGI effect, and it looks quite similar.
Yes.
So that's why I'm kind of the opinion it's a remnant or connected to or something to do with the universal power that they used at the end of season 3.
Yes.
And again, I'm making assumptions. And if you've listened to our show, be it the Umbrella Academy or any of our other shows, you will know I make assumptions. I make predictions.
Yeah.
I have an amazing hit rate of 0.01%. It is, come on. I am batting for not gold.
No. But we have done 1,000 episodes, Chris. Pretty much. We're closing in on 1,000 anyway. And you've definitely got a few things right over the years.
Yeah, a few things. Thank you.
As we
Less
say,
than 10.
but as we say, we know most of you, our fellow Academy alumni, have watched all 6 episodes of the show. We haven't. We're not running ahead. We're watching and then recording a podcast. So even though we're making predictions, they're not based on anything and any future ahead look, which we probably should have done.
I really should. At this point, I should just watch it all, skip to the end and go, do you know what my thought process is? Blah, 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 blah.
But that would ruin the fun of podcasting each episode.
Exactly.
But any of the other powers you want to talk about that the Hargreaves have?
No, more just the lack of power. Let's move to Klaus.
Yeah.
Because I actually enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm.
He is so risk adverse. He didn't take the marigold.
Yeah.
And I found that so, the alcoholic, the joke taker, the one who you expected to down it all.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah.
And to see that he is then have the powers hoisted upon him.
Yeah.
It's going to lead to so much strife.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose if you see it through Klaus's mind, and, we've seen his journey over the last few seasons, he was going down that path of taking all the drugs and the drink and the sex and everything that he was doing because of what the powers did to him. The fact that he could see dead people everywhere drove him insane in a way. And the only way he could cope with it was going down the path of having all the drugs and the drink and sex, basically. That was his way of coping with it. But those two things aren't great for Klaus, and he kind of sees this as his second chance. Him not having the powers means he can keep himself safe, and if he keeps himself safe, then he stays alive, and he doesn't have to experience the trauma that he experienced by being able to see dead people all the time. So, and what Reggie put him through to test him with those powers, where he was putting him in rooms with multiple ghosts, forcing that trauma on Klaus. So he has a new chance here. So you kind of see why Klaus would be the one to say, I don't want those powers back. I would say him and Victor are probably the ones I would say most wouldn't want their powers back, because Victor caused 2 apocalypses by his power, right? So it doesn't want that back. It's way too powerful to control. So luckily in this episode, he only blows out windows of the car with the power. So, but yeah, I can kind of see it. But yes, you see, because he's shot and because he's going to die, and they have an ability to save Klaus, the family choose to. And Allison's the one that pours the marigold on the open wound, the gun wound, to Klaus, and he is brought back to life.
Yeah, and so I completely forgot about Reginald putting him into the room with all the dead ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I completely, that just was, oof.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
Because we didn't realize that his power was actually that he can't die. Hargreaves thought his power was that he could see dead people. And that was a side effect of the power that he can't die. So yeah, that's when we got the flashback to what he did to him as a kid. Yeah. Yeah.
Completely forgot that. Yeah,
Awful. Yeah.
Sometimes this is like, you think this is a fun, like all ages fun show with a bit of swearing.
Yeah.
No. This was a dark one. Yeah.
It goes dark sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's for me was really like Lila with her, what was a mimic power is now Cyclops' power. Let's wait and see.
Well, yeah. She was able to have the abilities of everybody else, wasn't it? So she was able to take the abilities of everybody else. But now she has one specific ability, which is shooting lasers out of her eyes, completely uncontrolled. But she is able to use it. She gets to use it in that Christmas battle. And luckily it comes on just at the right time, which is good.
And just the one thing I will note, Allison doesn't need to use words. Interesting.
Yes.
So is that a power upgrade? Because we'll see.
Yeah.
Because she basically controls the person.
Uh-huh.
Used to be, as you said, I heard a rumor. That's no longer the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel some of them have been upgraded. Some of them have been altered to a degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, again, saying that, like, Five's power is still jumping, but slightly different. In
Yes,
a different
exactly.
way.
Well, it's a very different way they got their powers here, right? The Marigold originally went into women, gave them children, and those children were born of the Marigold, basically. Here, they're all drinking a shot of this liquid. I think this is a funny moment when they talk about it going, maybe it's Marigold, maybe it's something else. We don't really know. Are you really going to swallow that? You know, and last episode, they're kind of going, what if it isn't? What if they're just guessing that it's Marigold? What, you know, it could be something completely
Goldschlager.
different thing. Exactly. It could be just shot of Goldschlager. Yeah. But no, it is something anyway connected to the powers that they got in the past, but it is different from the way that they originally got their powers. So I presume as they're all adults now, they're manifesting in a different way than they would have manifested in the past. So, and they came on pretty quickly too. I presume the kids didn't have the powers instantly when they were born. They grew and the powers grew with them, because it wasn't that the first story originally about Vanya that she hadn't actually shown her power by the age of 12 or 13 when the rest of the kids got theirs. So, yeah.
Exactly. Otherwise, you would have had some child claw its way out of his mum's stomach.
Exactly.
And that's a whole other story.
Yes.
It's a different show. That's The Boys.
Mm-hmm. It is, absolutely.
But that is my major moment, which is, again, just kind of, I'm interested to see how the family dynamic, and again, that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wait and how that evolves. Because we're 2 of 6 now. Like, that is, that's a significant whack old into, we're a third through. And it's just this episode. I was like, this is what I'm here for. This family dynamic. This is going to give me more of this, and I'm a happy man. Not saying I'm not intrigued by the Christmas Town clash, as Derek so put it. So let's wait and see.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anything else that we need to talk about from the episode, Chris? Anything else we haven't pulled out?
Jean and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Jean and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our J and G, the Jean Meisters, old Jeannie, the Jean Jacket duo.
I'm sure the writers' room love the idea that they came up with the 2 character names for doctors called Jean and Jean. It just makes loads of sense.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I just love the fact that they put them in jean jackets.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
As you do.
Jean jacket wearing Jean and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. Them seeing Lila, copying who she is, but then also knowing that what we know to be the Hargreaves, have taken Jennifer, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So we now remember, they know the umbrella effect. They have talked about the other timeline.
Yeah.
They've seen other things. So, and remember, they have a VHS with Alison's face on it.
They do.
So they're going to know that face. So it's going to be interesting to see what they know, how much they know about the Umbrella Academy and things like that. My voice went very high there because I'm very interested to see what the storyline is going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the end of the apocalypse and the cleanse. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I think that's my other one, which is I want this. This is it now. This is okay. We've got our storyline. We've got our beats. We got our understanding. Tell me more about Jennifer. Tell me more about Jean and Jean.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's kick off.
Yeah, we'll definitely see more. An interesting thing that I just noticed in my notes there that we hadn't mentioned. So I had wondered whether the town was connected with their group, the Keepers, or not. But Luther mentions that everybody in the town was wearing Hargreaves outfits, was wearing Hargreaves bulletproof vests, that kind of stuff underneath their clothes when he was beating them. So I guess it's connected to Hargreaves rather than the Keepers. So this is Jennifer must be his secret, I guess. Must be connected to Reggie Hargreaves because he's a big player in this world, as we saw at the end of last season. Still haven't seen him on screen yet, but he was a big player in this world, as we saw at the end of season 3. So, so I guess Jean and Jean kind of just made the Hargreaves family do their job for them. So they didn't go into the town. The Hargreaves family got the Umbrella Academy, grabbed Jennifer, and then they grabbed Jennifer off them. So I guess that might have been their plan. But yeah, interesting that they learnt about Lila in there. One of the other things we didn't mention, which I did want to talk about, is Diego shares his suspicions that Lila is cheating with Five, who is the one that he thinks Lila is cheating with, even though he doesn't know it because of his amazing mustache and amazing disguising skills, which I just think is a really funny moment, that he thinks that some greasy Greek guy was taking her out because of his pencil thin mustache that he sees on Five's face.
Never trust the Greeks. Never trust the Greeks.
Apparently, according to Diego, anyway. That does not represent the TV podcast industry's opinion of Greek people, Chris.
No. Agreed. I love Greek food. So yeah.
We're hopefully going there in a couple of months' time.
Ooh, Greece. Not me.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
We are. Yes.
Yeah.
Honeyman is calling.
Yes, the royal we, not the we that is on this podcast.
Yes, exactly.
You never know. I am.
You may turn up on our honeymoon.
Yeah, exactly. I might just sneak along in the suitcase.
Excellent.
Take a sneaky photo.
Well, I'm bringing that clip for the podcast if you do, Chris, and I will play it to any Greek person that might listen.
Thank you. I'm never going to be allowed in Greece.
Exactly.
Okay. You're interesting about the Hargreaves. You're right. That is also partially why I think that I have this theory about it being alternate versions of the actual Umbrella Academy of the kids. And I'm hoping now we get to see other cities, other towns, where it's just other versions, other Luthers, other things. Be just fun. Yeah. Like a giraffe version of Luther. Who knows?
Very good.
Anyway,
very good.
With those thoughts, Derek, what did you think of this episode? Tell me your final thoughts.
I enjoyed this a lot more than the first episode. Not that I didn't enjoy the first, as I said. And I just think the team being on a mission this quickly after getting their powers back, it's always fun to explore that. The cast are fantastic, but what's definitely fun to explore is how different their powers are. How are they going to control them? Do they know what their powers are? How are they going to explore the world? That's always fun. The car trip was hilarious. Thought it was a great idea to have Baby Shark playing for 13 hours as it slowly drives everybody insane who's already sick in the car. I thought that was a great idea. But yeah, really fun episode. Really enjoyed this. And it's doing everything that I enjoy with the Umbrella Academy, which is basically put these 8 characters on screen together. So yeah, great stuff. Who doesn't love a gun-toting Santa Claus as well?
Of course.
How about yourself, Chris?
I'm very much there with you. We're off to the races. We have the powers back. We have some additional mysteries. It is very Netflix styled, which is the last 30 seconds really make you go, oh my God, I need to know more.
Exactly.
So I really wanted to binge in.
Uh-huh.
While I say we're off to the races, I still feel there's this molasses of a storytelling right now, in that just it's drip feeding me the pieces, but I'm probably used to more now. We'll call it the boys storyline telling, the Invincible, where it's a lot more fast paced, a lot more things are happening, a lot more storylines. Whereas this is, and the Umbrella Academy has been a story about the family. There's not the greater impact on the world right now, usually just an apocalypse. It's a very simple storyline. I don't mean that in a bad thing. It's like, there's an apocalypse, there's the family, they need to stop the apocalypse.
Exactly.
Usually one of them is the cause of the apocalypse. So I suppose a part of that has made me go, it feels the storyline is slightly trudging through molasses, just slightly slow, not too fast, but not as fast as I would want it.
Right.
So I'm happy, as you said, definitely better than the first episode. Definitely kind of the gears are starting to spin up. I enjoyed it, but just want a bit more, want a bit faster. Give me all the information.
See, if you didn't podcast about it, Chris, you could know it all by now.
I could be, but no. The dictator that is our illustrious editor, Derek, has made me do this, and I much preferred.
I genuinely didn't tell Chris that he couldn't watch ahead, especially because we were delayed. I promise you, he could have watched ahead, but he chose not to as well.
I chose not to.
Because it's fun. It's fun.
I also am blinking multiple times for our listeners. It's true. What he is saying is all true.
It's great that doesn't work on a podcast. Good stuff. But let's hear a little bit from our fellow Academy alumni in our feedback section, which is called Messages from the Future. I forgot that. That's what we called it back from season 1. First up for our Facebook group, Dr. Bob Phillips says, it's the Umbrella Boys crossover that I thought nobody would attempt, but they did. The second most important question left unanswered to me was, who is looking after Claire? And the question of greatest importance is, what twisted mind put Baby Shark on? Just after I'd managed to clean it from my brain. All pediatric folks have needed therapy after that bloody tune infected the world. I can only imagine what it must have been like with hospital radio when that song was out in the world. It must have been played every 3 or 4 minutes, or for 13 hours straight.
I'm going 13 hours straight. Do.
Oh yes, I can't even imagine how horrible that would be. Who's taking care of Claire? They had a lot of talk between Diego and Lila about the fact that they have kids and that they had things to do and they had family living in the house that could take care of them, but nobody mentioned anything about Claire. The sole reason why Allison made the deal she made and came back from the other universe was for her really important daughter. But she never even mentions where she's gone. Oh, she did. Oh, sorry. That's not right. At the birthday party, they said that Claire was going to stay with her cousins, which would be Diego and Lila's kids. So she's with Diego and Lila's kids. There you go. Just remembered. That was a conversation they'd had, wasn't it? Because Claire didn't want to go to the birthday party, but Alison said, you have to go. We've got a big thing on tomorrow. You have to go, and you're staying over with your cousins. So she's with the cousins. There you go. Asked and answered, as you say, Dr. Bob.
Yes, and Dr. Bob, need I introduce you to Dr. Shark, Dr. Shark, Dr. Shark.
No, Chris, don't do it. Don't do it.
The doctor is in the house or in the sea.
There you go. And yes, you're right. The violence in the episode did feel like the boys, definitely. So yes, the Umbrella Academy,
but with a bit less
versus
blood.
the boys.
Bit less blood. Because it's again still Netflix.
Christmas theme boys.
Yes, exactly. Oh, we've seen that. Oh, we definitely seen that. Thanks, Dr. Bob. We also have some feedback from Heather Wallace, who had this to say, the road trip had such true sibling vibes. Mm-hmm. The bickering, the whining, the vomiting, and cranky dad Diego at the wheel, not wanting to stop, was spot on. Baby Shark on Endless Loop was hilarious. I saw Tom Hopper in an interview a few years ago say it was the song he had most hated in the world because his kid kept playing it.
There you go. That's the evil genius behind the choice of Baby Shark.
He really annoyed and peed off some writer then. They could have chose any song. They could have done anything. But they chose that. Tom, who did you insult so bad? Come on, Tom.
Tell us all.
Thanks so much, Heather.
Absolutely. Thanks, Heather. And as I say, yeah, definitely had that road trip vibe. Had lots of flashbacks to my childhood from this episode. And one final piece of feedback that came in on email, and I forgot to put it in while I was originally recording, but it came in from Christina from Black Curl Couch Reviews, who says, hey, it's rather nostalgic to be in the final season of the series, but due to the mixed emotions about season 3 and the long wait, the excitement is kind of muted. Finding out that we're only getting 6 episodes made me both dismayed and angry, since Vikings Valhalla got 10 for their final season, and it certainly didn't deserve it. There's a lot of familiar tones that leaves me with trepidation, but I am hopeful this last ride will end with at least some answers to some long mysteries. Such as, why did an alien create these children? What happened to the other children? Are they the only ones with these powers? Are the Hargreaves aliens too? I mean, technically they'd be mutants, right? Did Luther need to be a stripper? There's just nothing attractive about this character anymore. Will Diego ever catch a break and get a win? The most relatable moment in this episode was Allison dealing with a teenage girl, keeping a vape pen nearby, and then Lila going outside the car to puff past the magical dragon to avoid the insanity that is more than 2 children in the same vicinity in a confined space. Keep up the great work, lads. Christina, aka Black Girl Couch Reviews. Thanks, Christina. That's great to hear from you. I'm glad you're starting out the journey of Umbrella Academy season 4, the final season. Yeah, I'm going with what they're giving us for the final season. I know it's a bit of a shame that they're only getting 6 episodes, but there was that interview with Steve Blackman who kind of said he wanted to put a capper on it, had enough story to tell for the 6 episodes, and didn't really feel like he could do a full 10-episode season. So hey, guess that's the benefit of the show being on Netflix. They would have to fill out a 10-episode season and just expand it for the need to expand it. So hopefully he'll get us something great over the course of the 6 episodes. As for Luther being a stripper, I think it's just a point that he had to put up with that ape body for so many years that now he's finally got his real body back, that he thought, of course I'm going to show off my body to the world, but not a great stripper, unfortunately. As for Diego, seeing him have his superpowers back now, or even a better version of his powers, as you see him delivering that postage, maybe he is getting a bit of a win, but Lila doesn't seem as impressed with him with his new powers back as I think he expects her to be. But I guess we'll see how he plays out for the rest of the season. Great stuff. I hope you're going to be following along with us for the rest of the season. Thanks so much for sending in your feedback. Please keep emailing it in to us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, or pop on over to the Facebook group and leave it over there on one of the spoiler posts for each of the episodes for The Umbrella Academy. And of course, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We'll be back next time with our discussion about The Umbrella Academy, Season 4, Episode 3, The Squid and the Girl. Interesting.
Is Ben the squid? Time will tell.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, and I look forward to the discussion. Don't forget, if you want to get your thoughts and your feedback, head on over to tvpodcastindustries.com or feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, or go to facebook.com/groups/tvpodcastindustries, because we want your feedback on episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6. Until then, thank you so much, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Absolutely. Bye. Keep watching, keep listening. We'll speak to you again next time. Bye.
Brolly dollies. There you go. John would kill me if I didn't say it. Bye.